You guys, something about this whole Hannah Montana 20th anniversary situation is just not sitting right with me. Like, I'm sorry, but how do you celebrate one of the biggest Disney shows of all time and somehow it still feels awkward? Like, what is happening? Because tell me why people were excited for this anniversary. Nostalgic, emotional, ready to relive everything, and then suddenly fans start noticing who's not there. And once you see it, you literally cannot unsee it. I'm Sarah, and you're watching Celebrity What If. And if you're new here, you picked a very interesting video to click on because we don't just talk about celebrity news here. We connect the dots that people usually ignore. All right, now let's get into it. Okay, wait, let's slow down for a second. Because at first glance, everything looks normal, right? You've got Miley Cyrus reflecting on her career, talking about how Hannah Montana changed her life. It's giving growth. It's giving full circle.
Miley Cyrus just admitted that she was completely checked out of season 4 of Hannah Montana. And I was like, wait, what was going on in her life that season? That was 2010. She was 17, turning 18. She was releasing Can't Be Tamed. She was trying to break out of Disney. She was filming the last song. She meets Liam Hemsworth, and then her parents file for divorce that same year. And then when you look at that final season, there were only 13 episodes, and she's literally leaving Hannah behind on the show. And this was also the same time that she had that controversial Vanity Fair shoot with Annie Leibovitz. Remember that? Where she showed a little side boob, and then she went on to SNL to sing a song, Sorry, I'm Not Perfect. So now when I hear her say she was checked out for season 4, I'm like, oh my God, of course she was. But now this is where it gets emotional. At the Disney Legends ceremony, she's crying, saying, I can stand here proud to be Hannah Montana because she made Miley. She said she wouldn't have any of this without her. And here's what I think is really different about Miley. Most child stars don't talk about their first role.
But then people start asking one very simple question. Where is Emily Osment? Like, hello? Her literal best friend on the show, Lily. The other half of the entire dynamic. Gone. No major appearance. No big reunion moment. Nothing. And this is where it starts getting weird because we're not talking about some random side character. We're talking about the best friend. So now people are like, okay, wait, is this just scheduling issues or is this something else? But wait, this is where it gets messy because this isn't even the only thing people noticed. There's also this whole situation with Taylor Swift. Yeah, that part. So Miley starts hinting, very casually, by the way, that there was some kind of behind-the-scenes tension. Not fully explaining it, not giving details, just enough to make people go, wait, what? And I'm sorry, but you can't just drop something like that and then walk away. Like, tell me why you're bringing up drama and then refusing to actually explain it. That's what I call the half-truth effect, where you say, just enough to spark curiosity, but not enough to give closure. And you guys, that is exactly how you create chaos online. Because now people are connecting dots, and once people start connecting dots, it turns into something way bigger. Okay, but let's go back for a second. Because if you really think about it, this whole situation feels off in multiple ways. Not just one, multiple. First, the missing piece problem, where key people are just absent and no one is really explaining why. Second, the timeline confusion because fans are trying to figure out when this tension even happened. During the show, after the show, recently, nothing is clear. And third, the image shift because Miley now is very different from Miley back then. And yes, people grow, people change. But when you go back to something nostalgic like this, people expect some kind of emotional consistency, and instead it feels slightly disconnected. But wait, this is where things change, because now fans aren't just looking at the anniversary, they're looking back at everything. And this is where the pattern starts forming. Because think about it, there have been multiple moments where Miley hints at things but doesn't fully explain them. Multiple moments where relationships seem fine publicly but later feel complicated. Multiple moments where fans are left with questions instead of answers. And I'm not saying anything for sure, but like, is this a coincidence? Or is this a pattern? Because when it happens once, okay, whatever. Twice, still maybe random, but when it keeps happening, people start noticing.
roles. Like Selena Gomez isn't sitting around talking about Wizards of Waverly Place, because for most actors, their first role is just a character. But for Miley, it wasn't. She had the same name on the show. Her real dad was on the show. This was her life happening in real time. Hannah Montana made her a famous singer. Now, the 20th anniversary special premieres March 24th, which she said she literally manifested. And then when you watch the reunion trailer, she's back on set. She's hugging her mom. She's crying. She's hugging her dad. And he literally says, best of both worlds. Alex Cooper is interviewing her, asking her about celebrity crushes. They're joking. You could tell Miley is holding back tears the whole time. And when she was at the Disney Legends event, she says, I dedicate this to Hannah and to all of the fans. This is the life. And I think this is why it hits so hard, because when she says she was checked out back then, it's not that she didn't care. It's that she was living through so much of her life at the same time while she was doing Hannah Montana. And now she's finally able to look back at it the way that we do. Like, it's not just her revisiting Hannah Montana, it's all of us revisiting that version of our lives too. I cannot wait to watch. Will you be tuning in? Let me know what you think in the comments.
And this is where it gets deeper, because now fans are split. You've got one side saying, this is normal, you're overthinking it, and the other side saying, no, something is off. And honestly, both sides kind of make sense. Because on one hand, not everyone can show up to everything. Not every relationship stays the same. Not everything needs to be explained. But on the other hand, when things feel consistently unclear, people start filling in the gaps themselves. And that's when things spiral. Because now you go on social media and it's a mess. People are making edits, analyzing old interviews, comparing timelines, and suddenly this simple anniversary turns into a full investigation. And I'm sorry, but that doesn't happen for no reason. This is what I call the nostalgia break effect, where something that's supposed to feel comforting starts feeling confusing instead. Because nostalgia works best when it feels complete, when it feels honest, when it feels aligned. But when there are gaps, those gaps become the focus. And right now, there are a lot of gaps. But wait, because it actually gets worse. Let's talk about expectations, because fans didn't just want an anniversary. They wanted a moment, a reunion, closure, something that felt real. And instead, they got pieces, hints, fragments, and that creates this weird feeling of almost getting something, but not fully. And psychologically, that's even more frustrating than getting nothing at all, because now your brain is like, wait, there's more here, and you can't stop thinking about it. Which is exactly what's happening right now. People can't stop talking about this, not because it's huge confirmed drama, but because it's unclear. And unclear is powerful, because when something is unclear, your brain tries to solve it. And that's why this is blowing up. Not because everything is confirmed, but because nothing is fully explained. And that brings us back to the biggest question. What actually happened? Was Emily Osment just busy? Was there tension we don't know about? Is the Taylor Swift situation deeper than it seems? Or are people just overanalyzing everything? Which is exactly what's happening right now. People can't stop talking about this. Not because it's huge confirmed drama, but because it's unclear. And unclear is powerful, because when something is unclear, your brain tries to solve it. And that's why this is blowing up. Not because everything is confirmed, but because nothing is fully explained. And that brings us back to the biggest question. What actually happened? Was Emily Osment just busy? Was there tension we don't know about? Is the Taylor Swift situation deeper than it seems? Or are people just overanalyzing everything? Because honestly, it could go either way. But here's the thing. When something feels off, even slightly, people notice. And right now, a lot of people are noticing. And I feel like we're not getting the full story yet. Like there's still something missing, something just under the surface. And maybe this is just the beginning. Or maybe this is exactly what it looks like. I genuinely don't know, but I do know one thing. Once people start asking questions like this, they don't stop. So now I need to know, what do you think? Is this all just coincidence? Or is there actually a pattern here? Because I'm not gonna lie, something still feels off. Drop in the comments. Do you think Emily and Miley are actually okay? Because I have seen both sides and I genuinely cannot decide. And if you want to watch Ariana Grande drama is getting weird, I'll put a video right here that I think you're going to love. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.